This is problem 8-110. You are given the equation 5x squared plus bx plus 20 equals 0. For what values of b does this equation have real solutions? So when we talk about real solutions, we also introduced complex solutions, and we find that from the discriminant, which is part of the quadratic formula. It's the part underneath the square root sign, so it's the b squared minus 4ac. That's the discriminant, okay? So if that thing underneath the square root sign, because that's really where all the problems are if you're doing the quadratic formula, if underneath the square root sign you have a positive number, then you get a real solution. If you have 0, you just have one real solution. Sorry, this you get 2. If you have a negative under there, you get complex. So the question is asking for real solutions, so we don't want to get negatives under here, okay? So we're going to set the discriminant of this equation, what it would be, equal to 0, and see what number b has to be in order to make that true. So b is still b in this problem. B squared minus 4 times a is worth 5, and c is worth 20. Okay, and we're going to set that equal to 0. All right, so let's solve this. So I have b squared, so equal to 0. I get minus, this is 20, and times 20, so that's 400. Okay, we can either, let's move this over, so we get 400 equals b squared, or you might just be able to figure it out right now. Square root of that. Remember, we could have two answers here. We could have 20, or you could have negative 20. Okay? Both of those things that you would plug in to this part right here, you would get it would be 0 if you plugged it in. So those two numbers make it equal to 0, but what numbers would make it greater than 0? So we could have set this equal to, or made this be, one is this greater than 0, or we can just kind of play around with the numbers. So if you were to plug in 21 here, that's going to be bigger than 400, or sorry, right here is probably the better part to plug it in. Plug in 21, that would be bigger than 400, so that would be positive. If I plug in negative 21, that would also be more positive than the 400. So when I have b is greater than or equal to 20, and when b is less than or equal to negative 20. Both of those places work. However, you can't be in both of those places at the same time, so we're going to say the word or after that. So those are the places where it would work, okay? So we set our discriminant equal to 0 and solved.